Welcome, my constant reader friends. I'm Tad, and this is Tad Reads Books and Stuff. All right, so another update. Where do we sit? Well, on my Shorty Kings project, I have finally finished Skeleton Crew. So we will be discussing this book next week. And I haven't quite started 4 Past Midnight yet, which will be the next book in the Shorty King project, which was scheduled for this month. Again, a little behind. Hopefully we'll get this done by the end of this month. So that's coming. And finally, we're going to get to talk about Wool by HOWEY. So, I did purchase this from, it wasn't Amazon. Yeah, it was Amazon. I bought it on Amazon, and I got it in this box set. So it comes with Shift, which is book 2, Dust, which is book 3, and then it also came with this. It's just some stories. It says stories. Now, you notice on this one it says Silo. And if you look at the box, the back says Silo. So it says The Silo Saga. And if you've heard me talk about before, or if you've seen, they're doing a television series on, I believe, Apple Plus, and it's called Silo. So, I mean, it's kind of important because when this book first came out, so let's do the numbers like I normally do. This was originally published as a 5-part short story. And back in July of 2011, so, good couple years since it came out. But then it was put together in an omnibus of all the short stories, which became like the book. But in other countries, the book came out as Silo. In America, or for whatever reason, it's Wool. I think that's because the original short story was called Wool. What is Wool? I've seen people, they complain about this, that it should be called Silo, because what does Wool have to do at all with the story? Well, it is the material that they use to clean, we'll get into it, clean the lenses of the cameras and ports on the very tip of the silo that actually sticks out of the ground, that people can look through to see the outside. And we'll get into it, but people go out and clean it with wool. Also, I think it's kind of like pulling the wool over your eyes, maybe a little foreshadowing with the title. It's interesting. I do agree with a lot of people. They probably just should have called it Silo, but they're calling it the Silo Saga, so I understand that as well. Anyways, let's go on from there. So my book, my version, has 567 pages, and currently on Goodreads, this is a 4.21. The Wool, they call it, well, now 1, right? Wool 1, Silo Saga, 4.21 on Goodreads. I gave it a 4. I think that's pretty good, right? Anything, for me, anything over 4 is really good. What is it? It's another dystopian post-apocalyptic novel. I seem to be reading a lot of those recently. But right off the bat, I will say I did thoroughly enjoy this. I gave it a 4. There are some issues with it, continuity-wise, storytelling-wise, and I've seen a lot of complaints about this now Character building, not the greatest, but definitely not bad. Again, a very, I think, enjoyable read. Flows nicely, tells an intriguing story. Another way of telling a dystopian post-apocalyptic story. So, what is it? Thousands? I've said that several times now. So thousands of people live in this underground silo shape. It appears to be a silo. It's very long and deep into the ground. The outside, or the ID, the interior diameter of this silo, has these stairs, and that's how you go up and down the different levels of the silo, climbing these stairs. Not very great for as you get older on your knees, for sure. But there is a little bit of the portion of this silo, this rounded top, like a silo you see out in the country, that sits above ground. And that's where a lot of this story kind of takes place, or the emphasis of this story, specifically the wool part. You can imagine that living in this very narrow, confining space, you have to have very strict laws or rules. Otherwise, things can happen. I mean, if people started really banding together and starting revolts or civil wars within this silo, it could be very dangerous, and it could escalate to the point where, no one survives pretty quickly. So they're very strict. You can't even talk about the outside. Even mentioning that you're claustrophobic or tired of living in this silo and you just want to go outside could get you, I call it taking the wool, where you have to, they're going to kick you out. They're going to put you out the airlock. You're going to have your wool. They're going to say, go clean the glasses and the windows and the cameras, and see ya, sayonara, because you're going out into poisonous world. They don't really describe why it's, what happened, were there, again, nuclear holocaust or something, but the outside is poison, and if you go out there, you will die. That's a big threat, of course, how they keep people in line. Also, through this structure of this silo, that's how you have a very obvious social status caste system. So depending on where you live in this silo will denote, your social level. The lower you live in the silo, the lower your social standings, your, well, not in reality your importance, but psychologically, socially, your importance to this society of your silo. It's interesting because, so you can imagine you've got the very top, tippy top, which is the airlock and things, but then below that you've got, for instance, like that's where the mayor resides, the mayor of this society, this silo. The police are up there. Then you go down, you've got administration, IT offices, you just keep going down. You've got botanicals and farming and medical, and each level has cafeterias, housing for those people. You continue to go down, you've got electric, mechanical, sanitation, all the way down to the bottom of the silo. Even to the point where depending on the different levels that you live on, you even wear different clothing, different colors, yellow, green, blues. There's different colors that denote your job, your level, and conversely your status symbol in this environment. It's kind of interesting. It's not so unique in, a social caste system, of course, that's in many books, but it's interesting. And it's very kind of regimented. Again, it's got to be so that people can survive in this claustrophobic environment. But they've been living there. They've been generations and generations. So these people don't even remember the outdoors. They don't even remember why they're in this silo, why they've been forced to live in this confined area. They don't know why it's poisonous outside, why they can't go outside. They can't really see anything. I mean, you can look out there's windows in the top portion and you just see desolation, but you also will see bodies. Again, if someone becomes unruly or commits crimes, serious crimes, or there was like a bit of a murder mystery in here that was kind of fun and kind of like a cozy murder mystery, those people will get exiled to, like I said, taking the wool. They'll put on like an astronaut suit with a helmet and a screen on it. They go through an airlock. They get put out in this airlock with some wool, and they go and they clean the windows and the cameras, and then they collapse and die. So everyone can see their bodies out there, right? Desiccating. The twist, of course, comes in the volume, the mass of the book, the story. So we open up with this guy Holston, and he's, at the time that we open up with this book, he's the sheriff, and unfortunately he's losing it. He is going to take the wool because just recently his wife has. His wife worked as a IT scientist specialist, and she found some information, and it messed with her so badly that she just wanted to end it. She wanted to escape. Now, they allude to it a little bit. She, I think, had been starting to lose her mind a little bit and just getting weaker and weaker, and got to the point after she found out this information that she just didn't want to be there anymore. She became vocal about wanting to get out of the silo. And once you do that, you're gone. You're put in jail. You're given like your last rites, your last meal. You're given this spaceship-like outfit and the wool, and you're put out the airlock. And she does. I'm trying not to give a lot of it away, sometimes as I do in my videos. So I'm not going to, because I really enjoyed this book, and I want you to read this. It's not the greatest literary thing you're ever going to read, but the pacing is great. The storytelling is fun. The twist at the end might not be the newest thing you've ever seen, or not even unseeable. You can kind of surmise as you're reading what's going on here. But anyways, Holston takes it. So now we don't have a sheriff, because he's gone out. He cleaned the windows. He died, and we don't have a sheriff. We need a new sheriff. So we meet Mayor Jans, and she and the deputy, Marnes, who are both getting up there in their years, really want to, they have this idea of this person they want to promote to become sheriff. Deputy Marnes does not want to become sheriff. He likes his status. He's getting old. He and Jans have a little relationship going. That's fun and interesting. But anyways, they want this girl, Juliet or Jules, to become the new sheriff. But she is a mechanic, which means she's way the hell down the silo. And they need to make the trip all the way down on their old legs, walking down level after level after level of these stairs to get to her, to offer her the position. They've heard rumors that there's no way in hell she's going to take the position, but on the way down, they meet her father, who's a doctor, pediatrician, I believe. And why do they not talk to each other anymore? Is that going to color their decision to make Jules the new sheriff? Along the way, of course, they have to stop through the different zones, and they stop and they talk to the director of IT. This guy's named Bernard. Now, Bernard has his own agenda. Bernard's very high in the social rankings as the manager, the director of IT, and he knows some things that the vast majority of the people living in this silo don't know. And he has his own agenda, and he wants to promote somebody so that that person would kind of be working for him. So he doesn't want Jules to be the new sheriff. They tell him to go F himself pretty much and continue with their trip down. So now he's thinking, I've got to do something about this. This is the whole story. It just envelops all these people. You get to see the different levels. They go down. Of course, they talk Jules into taking the job. Then they have to go all the way back up the silo. They get back up to the silo, and there's another murder. And it's the mayor. Yeah. Who did it? Again, kind of like a cozy mystery there. Who did it? Why did they do it? What's the purpose? Then who's going to take the mayor's place now? Oh, it's going to be Bernard, the IT director. You can see where we're going here. Very interesting. We do get to the point, though, where Jules takes the job. Bernard sabotages her. She gets pissed off and makes some statements. And, of course, now Jules is going to have to take the wool. And that's where some other things happen that we find out. Jules goes outside. People are watching. People aren't watching because they become jaded by this point. And Jules kind of just walks off. Walks up this embankment. People are watching. They're like, oh, what's going on here? Usually the people they do start walking away after they clean the lenses and everything. And as they're walking away from the silo, they keel over and die from the poison. Jules has found out why that was and took care of that little thing and has just walked up. She walks up the embankment and keeps on walking. This freaks people out, specifically, of course, Bernard, the new mayor, and this could send the whole silo into revolt. Wait a second. How did she do that? Is it really poisonous out there? Why aren't we allowed to go outside? You wouldn't want this to happen when you're encapsulated in this little living area. I mean, it's huge, but you know what I mean. But that's really the whole gist of the story, and then what happens to Jules after she walks over this embankment, what happens to her, what happens to the silo. We learn that this is silo 17 or 18. 18. What does that mean? There's other silos? You have to read it. It's very fun. I had a blast reading it. Again, not the most literary thing you're ever going to read, but very intriguing, very interesting, very fun. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm definitely can't wait to, where are you? Move on to Shift, which is the second book here. Not quite sure when I'm going to get to it. I do want to thank Kim, the paper traveler. I am experiencing a lull in my reading, my zest for reading, and I want to thank Kim because she did point out to me, man, you just got done, with The Expanse. I mean, that was 10 books. That was 9 months, back to back to back to back. Not normally how I read things. My first Law, I read over a year. It took me to read 3 books. You see what I'm saying? I don't force myself to read, but I thought I would take on that challenge, and now I've taken on the Shorty King challenge, and I'm already having difficulties with it. So I don't know if I'm going to go right to Shift immediately. I might let it just, simmer a little bit, because I don't want to get burnout like I think Expanse did to me. And I really thought that I could get away from it by reading Imaginary Friend, and it was going to be fresh and new and exciting. And then I think just the headspace I was in, really, I had difficulties with that book, and I just, stopped really wanting to read much. But this was really fun, and I think I'm getting back into the reading. Hopefully. But anyways, that's Wool. Please read it. I enjoyed it. I think you will too. I don't know about the TV series. It's on Apple Plus. I don't have Apple Plus. I wish I did, because I really want to check it out. But anyways, as always, if you all found any entertaining value in my videos, please like, subscribe, and of course, leave me millions of comments. I love reading the comments. And until next time, peace out.